genuinely, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I genuinely felt like the wind was whispering that it will be fine. Like it was just a feeling because of how much emotions I put into my writing. Like, I don't write just for the sake of it. I write when I feel like it. Like, there's something in me which tell me it's time to sit, forget everything, put your phone there, and maybe a dim light with candles. And I have my own nook. So having that kind of space and then start writing. So I felt it. And I was like, you know what, it's not just me who's feeling this way. There's so many people out there who are feeling this way right now. And if there's something that I can do which makes me feel of value to, like, I don't know, just the world around me, even if that's one person who reads even a single chapter and it hits them to the extent that it hit me, then why not? And I felt like books are the most, like I said, right, like the most intimate way of reaching out to people. Because when you read my book, you would feel that, oh, that's her book, what she's written, it's hers, right? You would be able to resonate with me as an author over someone who's written it on a blog. So that's when I felt like I need to, get it out there and just get it published. Of course, I added a few more pieces and did a lot of editing before it get out there. But I feel like, what is the point of our existence if we can't do anything for the world? I mean, it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. So that's the only motive. Like, seriously, that's all I want to do. So
To me, like if I may interrupt, like you really were being called, like the universe was really conspiring to say, how can I serve my highest good? And, in this downtime that I'm feeling. And sounds to me like you consolidated that and you were like, I've got to do this. And it
yeah,
just poured out of you in a very deep and
yeah.
emotional way.
And actually, you know what? Since you just said, and I really love how you put it, like meditation to your ears. I'm like, why not just read a poem for you?
Mhm.
That would be great. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, um, my first poem is called "The Long Journey," and I would actually urge you to visualize it while I read it. Yeah. Okay. So, part of a mourning dove I was. She flapped her wings, forsake me in no time. I'm useless now, I thought. Coming to an end is all I've got. Flowing with the winds, searching ways to end. Landed on a balcony, saw a man hitting his wife. Pointless, I felt, couldn't save her life. Nothing she said like it's her fate. Stop, I protested. He didn't listen. Finally, the sun came rushing, finding courage. Thank God, I sighed in relief. Stop, or I'll kill you, he said, trembling, going to slap his child, retaliating. That mother stopped him and stood for herself. She found courage. I flew. Sat on a tree, looking into a window. A happy couple. Some love, some hope I see. Phone rang. He was frightened. Asked her to shush. Picked and said, I'll pick Sandra from school. We'll be back for our anniversary soon. I love you, she said like she meant it. He hung up. I love you, said his regret. He cried. I flew. After an hour, resting on a slab, looking towards a lady, all sweaty and pale. Is it a rat kill I see? She put a few drops in the tea. Saw someone coming. An old lady I see. You are not my daughter in law, but a daughter to me, she said. I'm sorry, is this tea for me? No, it's stale, she replied immediately. They hugged. I flew. Finally reached a hostel, I suppose. A teenager caught my eye. Happy in a strange way, I observed every action he made. Ready and suited up, as if going on a date. Looking towards a letter. Love letter, said my poor judgment. Things change unexpectedly. He took a rope. I'm lonely, said the wall. Just when about to hang, his parents arrived. Happy birthday, they exclaimed. He stopped. I flew. It's a long journey today. I'm just a feather. Can life be so ugly? That's all I could gather. A huge lake, my chance to drown, to finish my existence. Why can't I do it now? What changed my mind? Part of a dream catcher I am now, with some friends and an existence that counts. Often wonder what stopped me. Hope that it will be fine, the wind whispered. So that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, there were like a couple of times where I wanted to kind of, but I just control myself.
Yeah.
Thank you for your honesty. That was so beautiful. And I think you've written a poem that many people, different vignettes, but have experienced while they're having suicidal ideation. And everything they fly to or open their eyes to feels dark and like a very unhappy world. And yeah, you found a way to dig in and find that glimmer of hope, and that's all we need. And you articulated that so beautifully. So thank you. That made my entire day.
I'm
Yeah.
so glad. That makes me so happy.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Whew, I felt that. I always love hearing the author read too. It's one of my, I feel like you can just sense more. Um, so thank you for that. Um, I mean, I look forward because I know you're extremely in a different place right now with having found a partner and some love and got married recently. And so I'll be curious if you, I mean, if you're, I'm assuming you're still writing, but I'll be curious if there's another, you know, book or the poetry that is like a little, um, more filled with like that, the brighter side, like the light coming through the darkness, right? So anyway, I'm sure it'll be beautiful when it arrives.
Yeah, actually, Helen, I was writing, I'm actually writing my second book right now. I mean, I'm doing a lot of things right now. One of the things is writing, writing my book.
Yes, you never stop.
Yeah, so one of the things is writing my book right now, and I actually see a lot of more love in my writing, more positivity. And I mean, positivity is there, but it was like hope of positivity before. But I do see a change in my writing sense, in the way I think. And it's just beautiful how that is, like how just your mindset can change your complete writing altogether, and you feel like, oh, you're capable of doing that or thinking that way. It's beautiful how writing does that to you.
Wow, yeah, just a beginning. So beautiful. I have to share, my sister, when she was cleaning out a few things, found a very old yearbook from when I was in grade school. And I think I was in grade 6 or 7. I think I might have been in grade 7 at the time. And I have a poem in there. And so does my younger brother. And oh my gosh, I laughed at my younger brothers. And he's a bit of a character. And then when I looked at mine, oh, I should have dug it out, and because it was very much a lonely young woman. And it really made me sad. And I thought, wow, I should probably put that out in a post sometime. It's really bad poetry, but you know what I mean, like trying to rhyme. But yeah, I just thought, wow, that was that. And for me, that's where I hold back sometimes on sharing those parts, the despair, the isolation, or feeling like not belonging. So, but I think that's where there's so much goodness too that can come out of that, of letting it out. And yeah, so that was kind of interesting to look at that because I'd forgotten, and I had a best friend who we were really good friends, and we used to collect these quotes um, and little pieces from books or quotes or things from birthday cards, that were beautiful poems. I always just thought they were so amazing. So, yeah, I lost a lot of the creative part of me for a long time, um, getting into the analytical head, thinking too much, overthinking, you know. So I think that if we can, the journal writing helps. I like that you just get called to it because I have sort of do mine in the morning with the morning pages, the artist's way. And it does feel kind of sometimes like, what the heck am I going to write about this morning? I don't feel like it or whatever. Apparently a page and a half in, some things come. But there is some really cool stuff that has come out in the last year that is more like poems or just downloads. And so I think I'm inspired when I get my other book done, coming. Just to get this like something completely different out there would be a lot of fun and in a compilation. And Karen had inspired me too because we've been accountability buddies and like meeting as much as we can and there are little pieces and vignettes and stories. So I know, Lavanya, you had maybe wanted to share a little bit of an exercise or something. We can do that. We can chat. I love to just go with the flow, so it doesn't matter. Um, again, I think Catherine said you had to go. Nikesh, I don't know. Oh, he's okay. I was just going to ask if he had any questions or something, or Emmeline. He said, I've not read the book, but the notion of hope is something that I cherish. Thanks for spreading hope. Yes, you definitely are a beautiful soul. Having been in the inner MBA is how I met Nikesh, and I didn't get really into the program as much, and I still need to get through some things, but they had an offer of like daily meditation. And so Nikesh would often host that or be part of that. And yeah, we haven't had chance to catch up again, but thank you for that. I think, there has, without hope, you know, what is there in a way, right? So, any other questions? Emmeline, do you have any questions or thoughts? You always have beautiful words of wisdom as well, my other beautiful old soul.
Yes, I would love to hear, since it's the theme of the month and since it's something that I think we're all so incredibly passionate about, I'd love to hear about your relationship with creativity and the creative process itself. There are so many ways of jumping into such a huge undertaking as writing a book, and creativity is this strange, ephemeral thing that can't really be grasped or understood, but that is ever present. And so I'm very intrigued just to understand what that looks like in your personal landscape of writing. Are you someone who wakes up every day, decides you're going to write, even though it doesn't flow, you stick to it? What does it look like for you in terms of actually getting, pen to paper, and understanding your own creative journey to that extent? I'd love to hear more about that.
I think, Emily, your question is really, really beautiful, and also very subjective from person to person. Creativity can mean a lot of things to a lot of people, and it can be completely different from what it might mean to me. Um, I believe being a creative person is something that you're gifted by God. That's how I believe in it. Because the way you think about things is slightly different from how someone else would think about it. And, say, for example, if I just look at a glass, right, sitting alone on a table, maybe half empty, half full, doesn't matter. I would probably look at it and I can just make a story out of it, which would be completely different from what someone with an analytical mind would see and think about it. Maybe they'll just think that it's a glass sitting on a table, right? But for me, it's more like a glass which has been sitting on the table for these many years. You know what I mean, right? So, yeah, so that's how I think. And I think creativity is very sacred to me that way because it's a gift by God. And if I just talk about writing in general, I think being a writer is like a full time job because, first of all, you cannot stop your thoughts. And second is you should know how to channel them and when to, I mean, have like a something to put your thoughts in, right? So I do have my notes on me all the time. I think that's a big savior. If you just look at my, at my notes, you'll see so many random lines written over there, which will just make sense to me because I felt that way that time, or maybe an instance, maybe something I saw, maybe a movie, maybe a dialogue of a movie. It can be so, like, it can be so small things in life. And sometimes when you start writing, the main theme of your writing can become completely different from what you wrote as an inspiration, and it's beautiful how that happens. But I feel like to be a writer or even a creative person, and it's really important for you to keep on writing. Maybe if even if that's small thoughts, just keep on writing, because writer's block is a real thing, and that happens a lot. I think with a lot of people, because there's a limit to how much you can think and how many thoughts you can have about a particular topic, right? But if you practice it, like you make it a habit, something which is a way of your life, then obviously, writing will become, being a writer will become who you are, even if when you don't try to. So.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. I love that. It also makes me wonder though, I think like when I think about my suppressed creativity, I'll put it that way. I think we all have it. I think it's just our society has kind of pushed it away from what is expected in norms. Do you know what I'm saying? Like even in school and growing up, it's like the arts were the programs that were always cut. And, the parents for my kids, like we had to like push the administration to, make sure they had artists coming in versus scientists in the classroom. Like it was kind of an interesting thing that because I really do believe like I can't believe like my kids who are very academic. And once in a while, like when the pandemic was happening, Katie had a YouTube thing and was, oops, computer was typing. It's okay. Katie had a YouTube thing on and she was just following it and she drew this amazing cat with like extreme details. And I saw it and I said, who did this? Did you trace this? And she said, no, I just been experimenting. And the same thing, my son had done this one of Will Smith. And actually, it was all written words. The whole thing was actually sayings and written words in his name. And I kept them. I was like, who are these people? No, but because you're like, get the math, get this. So I think, though, that it's a practice. I really believe that what you said, Lavanya, of that you have to kind of allow yourself to let that in. And so we didn't have a lot of time to workshop, but I think we should do another session at some point in the new year and or maybe even introduce some kind of I know a few people that do this like writing experimentation. Like I love that you said about, sometimes you'll have your candle, like you can have rituals over it, or you can people once you are a writer and accept that and as a part of your identity, um, I think there are these like everyone gets up at 6 or they do this. And, for me, my morning pages has been I love it, my meditation. And I've missed like be a year that I started again this ritual and I've missed a few days. And the old me would have been oh my gosh, you can't even do it every day. It's like now I did 100 days in a row and I missed one from travel. It's okay. But I do think I will also, because I do notes sometimes about ideas or voice notes, but also I think I'm going to allow myself to just, when it's in the moment, just start that. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Can
That's
I
the
Um,
big
add something as
magic,
well?
Helen.
Just oh, sorry,
oh,
go.
I just want to say that's the big magic when it just comes to you. But go ahead, Emmeline. That's all I had to say.
No, I just wanted to add in regards to, I think maybe without realizing it, Helen made such an interesting distinction, between the societal perception of creativity as something we have, we don't have, that we should harness, that we should possess, that we should get in contact, in touch with. I don't believe it to be something we have. I think it is who we are. And so when you transition from the having to the being, this sense of immediate separation dissolves. It is who we are, and sometimes we just forget that it is who we are. It is our true nature. It is our true essence as a being. And sometimes that part of that dimension of the self just falls asleep, falls into the background for a little bit because we're not ripe enough, we're not open enough to welcome its voracious truth and whatever it is meant to communicate through us. But because it's something that we are, it can't be suppressed, it can't be deleted or removed or taken out of it is the very essence of who we are. And so it is just a matter of it's to me it seems that because of the small creative endeavors I've had through my life as well, the work consists in um, intentionally inviting it from the background to the foreground of the landscape and having this creative process and momentum move from the very back where it's been nestled in a cozy little corner, not to disturb us too much with the busyness of everything, back into right in the center, the protagonist of the show back again. And that movement forward, that invitation and that welcoming home is the craft, is the technical aspect of it. And it's what Einstein said when he said, inspiration can find you, but it has to find you working. And it becomes this dichotomous relationship with creativity as an act and as an essence. So it's the showing up, not knowing when it will strike, but when it does, we'll be ready to receive it because we're here working, ready to welcome it home. And so it seems to be moving on these two levels. And it just made me think about what we spoke as well about hope. And it reminded me of this really beautiful passage. I think it's in the New Testament. It's Hebrews 11:1, when they say that now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen.
Mhm.
And that to me is real hope. The faith, the evidence of things not seen, the knowing of the invisible. And this knowing of the invisible is also part of the creative process. To not have the visibility of the creative outcome there in the tangible material world, but so ever present that it is just about bridging these two dimensions and creating something substantial in the 3D, the evidence of things not seen but felt. And so that feels like also maybe the gateway to a creative process on a very spiritual level. Yeah, that was just yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. I wonder,
And I would just,
go ahead, Karen. Yeah.
oh, sorry. I just wanted to, this is a whole other very lengthy discussion that we could be in, but I just wanted to reiterate what Helen said about how kind of our society tries to squash our creativity because, preschoolers and toddlers are these imaginative, creative beings that, nothing, there's no limits on their thoughts. And then when our kids get to school, mom of three, the school takes that away because they're not allowed to be creative anymore. They have to follow the rules. They have to raise their hand to be allowed to talk. School basically teaches us how to be a robot and how to, do as we are told. And I see it now more in my first two children. I was you have to go to school, you have to, follow the rules. And now with my third child, she ended up homeschooling herself and getting accepted to university a year early, and is just such a different person than my older two. So it's fascinating to me how society changes us from who we were born as to who we're expected to be.
Yeah, that is a good prompt.
Yeah, I was about to say it almost sounds like a topic for another day, like a discussion in
Oh, I
itself.
have a whole rant on it.
Yeah. Go and write about that right now when we're done.
Oh, that's inspiration, Karen, for your short stories.
Yeah, this is amazing. That's why I think again that creator one just that was the one that I felt the most because we all are, right? We are creators as well. We've been created as well. Um, but to allow that, the messages to come through in some way, and we can make those choices like the thoughts that we have we can make we can sort of allow them to. And there was another one that I loved too about letting go, and I can't
Mm.
it was, I think it was the friend one, the friend, but there
Yeah.
was a lot about letting go, but then the bonds. And yeah, and maktub, can you remind me
Yeah.
as they call it, because I've seen that somewhere else recently.
Maktub. So you probably would have heard of this word from The Alchemist. That's definitely
Okay.
inspired by The Alchemist.
I just
So,
reread that.
mhm. So maktub is like a word which is beautiful also, and the meaning is really deep, right? Everything is written. That's what it means. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, to surrender and allow, which is very, very difficult, by the way, for some of us. The being, right? It's like let go of the doing and the being, right? That is a lifelong process, right?
Because we're
Um,
not human doings, we are human beings.
Lavanya, I feel so proud of you because, again, having worked together and experienced you in a different way, and it's just all beautiful, but I really feel this is something that is your gift and one of them. But I think it aligns also to this work. I know you're thinking about your, going back to school and studying a little bit. But I think about your work in the talent and development field as far as the learning and development, because it does align again about your creativity of putting something together for your clients or for your organization that you may work with. Again, I'll be curious to see where you go. I would love to know what you're working on right now. What's next. I will share this out with my community and a link to the book and everything again in one of our upcoming newsletters. But yeah, just any final parting thoughts, what you're up to, what's going to be happening.
Yeah, so right now I'm just working on, going to school. So just working on my applications as, the fall intake comes in. So yeah, I'm doing that, working on my second book simultaneously. Just kind of not really started with the writing process yet. Just, I guess, um, you know, brainstorming right now. And there's a lot of changes, right, which have happened in 2 months. Just got married, just moved to the States a month ago. So yeah, I mean, that's about it right now. I was like hosting for GLDC, which is like the global learning and talent development community for APAC, Australia, Europe, and Africa. So since now I'm in a different time zone now, I'm planning to host for North America. So that's a really good community again. And I really like the fact, I love the concepts of communities. I really find them fascinating because, you know, you just get together with no intention to sell, instead help each other and just grow together. It's just a beautiful space to be in. So yeah, just doing as much as I can over there.
And where's the best place for people to reach out? On LinkedIn or
Yeah, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I'll definitely share my link with you, or if you want, you can share that with
yeah.
everyone else as well. Um,
Yeah, for sure. In the newsletter and a recap. We will post the recording and on the YouTube channel.
Mhm.
So I'll let you know when we share that out. And yeah, just again, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you taking the time. And I'm just so excited for you. And congratulations again. And I love it. I love to just see where everyone is going and what's next, but also being in the moment now.
Yeah,
I'm finishing up my vacation, my little mini break, which has been fantastic. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to reconnecting. Everybody's welcome. Our next one is going to be September 30th. So I do have to move the date because it's usually the fourth Friday of the month. But our author um, Angela Champ, and the book is a more of an HR workplace book called The Squiggly Line Career. And so that'll be an interesting one because I can definitely relate that it's been all over all over the place. So she's going to be our guest author, and I'll send out details about that. And then we have October. We have Shannon Talbot is going to be coming. So we'll get more information about that. And then yeah, November, December. Who knows? Haven't planned that far.
Maybe we'll have
Everybody,
Helen's book.
yes,
yes.
I
We all are
well,
waiting for Helen's book for
November
so long.
11th is the go live date, but I don't think people will have enough time to read it for November. So I will save it for January for National Mentoring Month. And I have to get
Yes,
someone to interview me instead and to be
I will.
okay, Karen. You're in. You're in. Um, so yeah, so thanks again. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I truly appreciate everyone being here. And I will see you again soon. So have a wonderful rest of your day and weekend and talk soon. Bye.
So
So
it
good
was
to meet you,
lovely.
Lavanya.
Yeah, likewise. Really nice meeting you. Nice
Take
seeing you,
care.
Emily.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Emmeline.
Bye.
Bye.